welcome back to another episode of Plant-Based Dads. I'm Joey. Oh, there's like this dark side of over here on all this shade. It is a beautiful morning here in Phoenix. The weather is changing fast. Just a few weeks ago, it was kind of really chilly in the morning and at night, and it's going to be 96 degrees today. But right now, it's a beautiful like 77. Absolutely perfect outside. So I think today we're going to do kind of a day of vlogging. I'm going to make some meals today, show you some of the things that I'm going to be eating to get enough protein and staying at about 1,400 calories. Again, we've talked about this before. I don't always eat 1,400 calories. Depends on if it's a gym day or not. If it's a gym day, then I'm going to burn like 23 to 2,500 calories. Then I eat more calories than that. But like today's not a gym day, so I'm going to stay at around 14 because the most I'm going to be burning is 1,900 calories. Because I don't plan on doing much else. So just futzing around the house and that sort of thing. So we'll get into that. I'll start with breakfast, and at some point today, I'll insert the Tim update garden video. Tim has got his garden thing going on. He's been trying to find star jasmine forever, and like you just can't get it, and it grows like a vine, and it survives all the weather here. So he finally found it at like the grocery store, and they're really, really big plants. So he decided about putting that in, and then he's putting the plants in the raised garden today too, which I mean, it's already mid-April, might be kind of late for that, but looks like they're building a structure over there somewhere. And then this week on Friday, as you're watching this video, on Friday on my other channel, Joey Troxel, there's going to be an update video on my latest progress with 3D scans and all that. It's pretty impressive. You want to check that out. So that'll be my 4-month mark, and I'm amazed at the progress that I've made. You can see more of that. I'll put a link to that video, but the video is not going to be up till Friday, so you have to wait till that. All right, I hope you're ready for a day of vlogging, food, and gardening, because that's what's coming. Let's get started. Our high-protein hash-brown broccoli bake comes in at 392 calories per serving, with 43 grams of protein and 3 grams of fat. It's the perfect meal because it includes a starch, a non-starch, and a protein. Let's get started. We're starting with 200 grams or 2 cups of textured vegetable protein. This is a dry product made from soy, and when it's rehydrated, it winds up looking very much like ground turkey. And to this, we're gonna add 1.5 cups of almost boiling hot water. I don't know if you can see the steam coming off this, but this is from the tea kettle. So 1.5 cups of water. TVP absorbs any liquid that you put into it, so we're just gonna give this thing a chance to absorb all that water and rehydrate. So I'm gonna use my spoon and give this a little mixy and get this all incorporated. And I like to use just a little bit less water than TVP to get the perfect little consistency here. All right, so I'm gonna put this aside and let that do its thing. All right, next I'm gonna start by doing some cooking. I've got my beautiful Dalstrong 10-inch Avalon skillet, 5-ply copper. There's a link below where you can get your own Dalstrong products. I'm gonna turn the heat on and turn it to medium. And to that, I'm gonna add 55 grams of soy chorizo, or about 2 inches cut off the log. I'm gonna spread that out evenly over the pan so it can kind of cook faster, so it's not all clumped up. And I just wanna get this heated through. If you need to spray the pan first, that's fine. While that's cooking, I'm gonna toss in my TVP so I can get that to kind of cook a little bit with it. And that is a lot of TVP. Holy smoke. This also has a high water content, so it'll help the soy chorizo not stick to the pan. Now I'm just gonna kind of mix that around and get it all combined. Perhaps I should have went with a bigger frying pan. And you may have to add a little bit of water to the pan too, just to get it to saute. I'm just gonna keep kind of moving it and mixing it and fold it together so all of the soy chorizo is combined with the TVP. And you can see here that now I got a little water in there. The stickage is minimal. There's not much going on. Like over here, there's nothing, right? So that's all you need is just a little bit of water and you're good. But there's a lot of water in the TVP. All right, while that's doing its thing, this is a great time to add the spices. So I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of paprika. I'm gonna also add 1/2 teaspoon, maybe a little more, of chili powder. About 1/4 teaspoon of pink salt. And about 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. I'm just gonna salt and pepper to taste, and you can do the same thing. And I like doing this with the TVP instead of just in the whole casserole recipe because
the TVP will just absorb all these flavors, and there's so much of it in the recipe that it's really going to be the bulk of where the flavor is, instead of just sprinkling it like, you know, in the casserole pan. So this will be perfect. And that's nice and heated through, so this is sort of ready to go. I just want to get the spices combined throughout, and we're ready here. All right, this is nice and combined. All the spices are in. This is looking really good. I'm going to get this off the heat and continue on. Next, I've got a bag of organic hash browns here. The only ingredient on here is organic potatoes. There's nothing else in this bag. So these are frozen, and I've thawed these out, so they're not gonna be frozen when I use them, but I bought them as frozen, of course. And I'm just gonna let them sit here for a few minutes. They've been sitting in the refrigerator for a while, and I kinda wanna get as much water out as possible. So I'm gonna take a rag and just kind of press down on it and try and soak up any water that's in there so they don't become mushy when I throw them in the casserole. So this is one 16-ounce bag of hash browns, Cascadian Farms from Sprouts, but any brand will do. And I'm gonna get those hash browns into a large mixing bowl so I can start mixing all my ingredients. To the potatoes, I'm gonna add some frozen broccoli. I have 2 of those packages from Costco. The frozen broccoli, there's like 4 packages and they're each 16 ounces. So this is 32 ounces of frozen broccoli, and I thawed it out, obviously. And I'm gonna pop it right in this bowl, which looks like I'm running out of room. And I'm also gonna add in my chorizo and TVP. So let's get that mixed in there too. And all of this will be mixed together. I may have to go to a different bowl here. Let's see what we get. Yeah, this is not gonna work. All right, now here we are in our much bigger bowl. I'm gonna start moving this around and combine. I got other stuff going in here, but I wanna start getting this put together. This is really starting to look good. This is gonna be a beautiful, beautiful casserole, or hot dish if you're from Minnesota. After that, I'm throwing in about 1/4 cup, or 42 grams, of my own cashew cheese sauce recipe. There's a link to that recipe right up here. And this is all made from cashews and pimentos and some spices. It's absolutely delicious, and it's a good alternative to, you know, to dairy-based cheese. And then to that, I'm gonna add some of this Ninja Squirrel Sriracha. I don't like it too hot, but this is kind of up to you and how much you wanna put in, but it really takes it up to the next level. All right, so that's all my ingredients for the casserole before I start putting it in the pan and put the toppings in. So let's get that mixed up together here. Well, it's looking really good. I can't wait to get this baked and cooked. This is gonna be amazing. All right, so that's our casserole fillings. Let's get this in the pan. All right, I've got my 13 by 9 cast iron baking dish, and I'm just gonna put all of this in there. Make sure I get every bit of it. And there is a lot of this here. This makes 4 servings, so 1/4 of this is 1 meal, which is a lot of food. But that's the beauty of TVP, like it bulks everything up and it's got, you know, very little calories and a lot of protein. So, I mean, that's amazing. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of move this around till I get it all kind of pushed down. And I wanna get it pushed down because I want it to form into a casserole that we can cut and serve. So, and there's not much holding it together. So I wanna really kind of push it together here. Okay, that's gonna be a beautiful breakfast bake. All right, time for the toppings. For the toppings, I'm gonna start with 1/4 cup of panko breadcrumbs. I'm just gonna toss these in my hand and kind of move it around and sprinkle on the top to get them on there evenly. It's nothing pretty, I just gotta get them on there here. And then I'm gonna sprinkle on about 1 cup of nutritional yeast. I'm just gonna again put that on the top, move it around just so it all gets kind of covered evenly. And there we go, it's looking pretty good. And just for a little more color, I'm gonna sprinkle a little more paprika on top. And there you go. Now this is ready to go into a 400-degree oven for 40 minutes. Let's get it in there. All right, so if you think that it's starting to brown too much when it's in the oven, I checked on it halfway through. I thought it was starting to brown a little bit, so I put a little bit of foil on it for like the last 10 minutes of the cooking process. And this is the finished product right here. This looks really good. There's still steam coming off it. I've let it cool for about, I don't know, 20 minutes. And I'm just gonna, remember, this makes 4 servings. So, you know, this right here, this whole thing is 1 serving. So it's a lot of food. There's not a lot of holding it together, so you kind of have to put it in a bowl and just kind of eat it out of a bowl. So that's what I'm gonna do right here. I'm gonna see if I can just grab this out and right in. And there you go. Man, that looks delicious. All right. Get every last bit of it, because that's all the love right there. Perfect. Man, how good does that look, huh? All right, let's take a bite of this and see how it tastes. Now, this is still steaming hot, so you can see I've got the potatoes there, I've got the broccoli there. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, it's absolutely delicious. Holy smoke. All right, so I'm going to pass this to Tim because he wants to try. Oh, man, the sriracha just hit. Like, it's a lot of sriracha. You might want to use a little bit less sriracha. I'm going to pass it to Tim because he wants to try it, but he wants to throw some salsa on it. So let's see what he does with it. All right, so what kind of salsa do you have here?
So this is green salsa verde. Usually it's not as hot.
All right, so green salsa verde. All right. I usually do red salsa. How's it with the salsa on it?
This is good.
There's a lot of flavors, right?
Yeah.
Like you get the texture from the TVP is there, but it's not overbearing. The broccoli is a big part of this, right? Like,
yeah,
there's a lot going on.
This actually has enough flavor without having to have the salsa.
Yeah. All right, well, there you go. Our potato, hash brown, broccoli break, casserole, or you would call it a hot dish, right? So, Tim, do you know this is 391 calories? So it's under 400 calories, and it comes in at 43 grams of protein.
That's
Is that
awesome.
Crazy or what? This is a great breakfast.
A bowl of food.
For under 400 calories. If you're doing 1,400 calories, you've still got 1,000 calories left over for the rest of your day after this breakfast. Like, that's amazing.
Exactly.
All right.
This is great.
Breakfast is done. We'll see you at lunch. Our TVP Oat Burger comes in with the bread at 329 calories, 32 grams of protein, and 8 grams of fat. It's a really great high protein, low calorie option for lunch. All right, so breakfast was really filling, and I don't know that I really want a big lunch here, so I think I'm just gonna have a sandwich. And this is really great because what I've got here is my TVP Oat Burgers made with some beet in them. I made these a few weeks ago, and I just froze them. I'm gonna have them for lunch today. Look at that, it's a beautiful burger patty made out of oats and TVP. And the beet gives it kind of this reddish kind of texture and color. These are really good. So I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna throw together a sandwich. I've got this bread here that I'm using, which I use a lot. It's the Primal Bakery protein bread. This has 16 grams of protein for 2 slices, and it's 160 calories. So I really like this a lot. It adds a lot of protein to the meal. So I'm just gonna build this together. I'm also gonna put lettuce and tomato on it, and then I've got this Noble Made mustard barbecue sauce. I love this sauce, and I love that it's 15 calories for 2 tablespoons. It is vegan, obviously it's processed, but it does give me an option to have just a little bit of sauce on there. So that's what I'm gonna put on here. Let's build this sandwich. I'm just kind of eyeballing this here, but that's about 2 tablespoons. Got my patty right here. And then I've got these really beautifully fresh tomatoes. This is gonna be perfect on here. Oh, look at that. That looks good. All right, I like my tomatoes cut really thin. So, there you go. And then just a little bit of this shredded lettuce on top. That should do it right there. And then I got my other part of my sandwich right there. You can put avocado on this or whatever. I'm just trying to keep the calories down here, and I'll give you a breakdown of that in a minute. So I'm just gonna cut this in half here, and I like to do the diagonal because it makes me feel like I'm at a restaurant or something. And we're gonna pop this onto a plate right here so I can have lunch with it. And we are at the very end of sumo orange season. It's late April, so if you don't get sumo oranges in like the next week or two, they're gone until January. So this is an option you can throw on the plate here. I'm not gonna include this in the calories, but that's an option right there for you. And look at this lunch. Let's check this out here. Check out the burger. Look how good that looks. I know it's kind of scary. It looks like a meat-based burger, right? Like it looks like, you know, a burger, but it's the beets that give it that red color that make it look like that. And it's absolutely amazing. So that's a beautiful lunch right there that I'm gonna eat and enjoy here in a minute. And then Tim is doing some gardening work, so we're gonna check in with him and see how he's doing with that. The raised bed gardens are getting filled up. So this lunch right here, the way it is without the oranges, comes in at 329 calories, 32 grams of protein, and 36 grams of carbs with 8 grams of fat. Like, this is a really nice, like, low-calorie, high-protein lunch for a little break in your day. I'm gonna enjoy this, and then we're gonna check in the garden with Tim because he's got some stuff going on. Let's see what's happening. All right, straight from the patio, it's the gardening update with exciting news. What's happening here, Tim?
All right, it's planting season. I just thought I would inspire you or at least show you what we're doing. That's all I can do, right?
Right.
Okay, come with me.
Let's go take a look. All right, Tim, what you got going on?
Okay, So the patio just smells like jasmine.
It does.
It's awesome that time of the year. So I planted 3 more vines to go up here.
So people don't know what a struggle this was to get, right?
It's hard to find star jasmine.
Yeah. We just found it at a grocery store after giving up, right?
It's crazy. I had to text a few of my plant friends.
So people don't understand why we want this. So if you look over here, right, my neighbor who used to live there had this white truck from work that would always park there, and I would see his ladder every night. And Tim installed this jasmine here, and it grew up there, and it literally survived like everything we've ever done, right?
Yes. So we know that vine survives the summer here at 117 degrees. It's very hardy. Once the roots are established, it's great.
So we wanted that again.
So we wanted that again. We know it's a proven record. It matches, it's uniform.
And we couldn't find it.
And then all of a sudden, coming out of the grocery store, we did.
There it is. So those are the 3 jasmines right there, right? And we're hoping to cover that ugly door right there from the neighbor's house.
Sometimes the light is left on. You know, I mean.
Oh, right. That's another thing.
They're human. It's okay, but I just don't want to look at that.
Right. So that hopefully that'll do its thing. All right. So that's looking good.
All right. My next thing I wanted to show was I've got some raised plant beds.
All right.
And I just wanted to show what we do. So
what are we doing it here?
This dirt is so great. So I had existing soil from last year, and I just refreshed it with some of the compost from the bin that we have going on.
Right. Wait. So is this compost from our composting bin?
Correct. Yes.
Oh, man. So I wanted to see that.
Yeah, so full of nutrients. Anyway, it's set in here.
So this is our old banana peels and like orange peels and all that?
Exactly.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So come this way, I'll show you.
Oh, my gosh. I feel so environmental right now.
So I'm doing something different. I got a miniature pepper plant.
Oh, and it's got little baby peppers on it.
Because this pepper plant grows out of control.
Oh, right,
it's so tall and big. So I wanted to try the mini.
All right.
And then I got a dwarf cucumber plant. We've got 2 of these. So I'm having the exact same beds. Again, depending on how the sun sets and all that, depends on how much sun you get. So these 2 beds are very different.
Right.
And so I think every planting season is a new experiment.
Okay.
Just like probably at your house. So go to this
do we want to talk about the trees and garbage pails? All right.
We're done.
All right. So what's happening over here?
So super easy. Just wanted to show, I can show one plant.
So you just made little holes. You pop that stuff out.
Now I'm pushing in.
Yeah.
And fluffing around. The best thing to water, it has this spout for water underneath.
Oh, right.
But also I'll use a can because it's just a lot more gentle.
And we did reinforce the bottom of this thing with extra screws and brackets and all that.
Exactly.
Because one year it just fell right out to the bottom.
Yeah, we lived and learned with that one for sure. It's a little low right here. I can see that I can add some more more compost to this, so I will do that.
The last few years, we've had so many plants in here that I got out of control. I think it's just smart having like a few in that.
Just a few.
Yeah. Just kind of the
so
ones
they could do really well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, Tim. Well, listen, thank you for this exciting update to the garden.
Well,
and
it's just enough to keep a little busy.
Yeah.
I love it. So.
All right. Well, I can think of laundry and other things that need to be done, but all right. All right, let's get back to work.
Our edamame spring rolls are a great idea for dinner. Come in at 455 calories, 37 grams of protein, and 6 grams of fat. A nice filling, high protein dinner. Let's get to work. All right, it's dinner time. So here's what we're gonna do for dinner. One of my favorite things to make when I have kind of leftover lettuce I kind of have to use. You can see the lettuce is green, but it's kind of at the end of its life here. And I've got some cabbage and cilantro. I wanna make spring rolls. I'm gonna throw these all together with some a protein source, and today it's gonna be edamame noodles. And I'm gonna throw all that together into my rice paper and make some spring rolls with a really nice peanut dipping sauce. So I've made these before, but instead of using rice noodles, I'm just gonna use the edamame noodles, which will give it a lot more protein. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna start out by taking my rice paper here and popping this right into some water right over here and letting it get wet. I'm just gonna leave it in there for, I don't know, 15 to 30 seconds. I don't want it to be so soft where I can't hold it because it gets more and more pliable as it sits on the plate here. So I just want it to get wet, take a little drink, dry off real fast, and then I'm gonna throw it on this plate. All right, that's been in there for about 30 seconds and it's still kind of stiff, but it's going to soften as I'm working with it. I'm gonna start with my edamame noodles here. We're using this organic edamame fettuccine, but you can use any noodles. I like these because they're loaded with protein, 24 grams of protein for this whole bowl for only 200 calories. And we're gonna need to get this entire thing into our 3 or 4 spring rolls, however many we're making here. So we're gonna make 4, and this should give us a very filling meal. So there's my noodles, and I'm gonna throw in a little bit of carrots here, some shredded carrots. I've got a little bit of lettuce right here that I'm tossing in. I've got some shredded cabbage, and then of course the star of the show, cilantro, unless of course you don't like cilantro. And if that's the case, we can never talk to each other. And you can see that the wrapper is starting to wrinkle, so it is really pliable right now. So I'm gonna bring this up, and I really suck at this, but you gotta kind of drag it in as you're doing it, and then bring the sides close too, right, while you're doing this. And make sure you get all that cilantro in there, and keep pushing it in and tucking. You gotta kind of roll and tuck, and sometimes you may have to stretch, and it's really slippery. But you just gotta keep going and keep rolling, and there you go. And you have a beautiful spring roll. We're gonna make the rest of these, and I'll show you how to do the dipping sauce. When they're on the plate together, don't let them touch. This paper, this rice paper, is designed to stick to itself. So if you have another one right next to it, they will stick together and you won't be able to get them apart, they'll rip. So keep them separated from each other. All right, so spring roll is done. But we need a little something to go with this. I mean, there's no sauce or anything on this. So we're gonna make our Thai peanut dipping sauce to go right here. Let's get started. For our peanut dipping sauce, we're starting off with this PB Fit peanut butter powder. It's low in fat, low in calories, and it's loaded with protein. We're gonna use 3/4 of a cup of this right here. And you have to reconstitute it, so I'm gonna use about 3/4 of a cup of water. The ratio of water to a powder is 1:1. I want the final product to be a runny consistency, so we'll have to kind of judge that. If it's too thick at the end after the other ingredients, then we'll add more water. If it's too thin, we can add more powder. But for now, I'm just gonna mix this up the way it is. And once the peanut butter starts breaking up here, the powder, I like to use the whisk, because I don't want any like peanut powder chunks in there, so I like to kind of get it all combined. All right, it's already looking pretty good. Now it's time for the rest of the ingredients. Next, we're adding 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. And now we're putting in the juice of half a lime. I've tried using the whole lime, but it gets to be way too limey. So like, I'm always like, well, what do I do with the other half of the lime? So sometimes I will double the recipe, just so I can use the other half of the lime. And then I'm using this Lakanto monk fruit sweetened maple flavored syrup. You can use maple syrup for this, but it increases calories. And I'm trying to keep the calories down. And then just the slightest bit of ginger here. I'm not a big fan of ginger. I feel like it tastes like dirty sink water, but it really does add some taste to this. So I'm gonna mix that up here. All right, it looks like it's mixed to a perfect consistency here. I'm gonna show you what this should look like. You want it to be runny, but you don't want it to be like liquidy. So if you can see here, right? That's kind of perfect right there. You see that? You see that right there? Just what we need. You're gonna have to add peanut butter powder or water to it to make it the thickness that you want. All right, this is gonna be perfect for our spring rolls. This whole thing makes 4 portions, so you need this for the protein in the macros. So you wanna weigh this out or put it into 4 equal bowls, and one of them will go on the spring roll platter we just did. All right, so here's our spring rolls. We got our beautiful sauce right there. And then I always think it's fun to sprinkle some sesame seeds on spring roll. It sticks to the wrapper, right? And it kind of gives you a little contrast. And there you go. Voila! Now if you have some peanuts to kind of throw on top, that'd be a really nice topping too. But I don't have any, so that's it. So this spring roll meal comes in at about 455 calories with 37 grams of protein. It is a really great way to end your day. Plus it's a mostly whole food meal. There's a ton of fiber in this. All right, I'm gonna start dipping and get some dinner. All right, so it's a very busy day of gardening and eating and all that stuff, right? So what are your thoughts on the broccoli bake? I feel like it needs more cheese.
So it had plenty of flavor,
yeah,
but it was kind of crumbly.
Yeah.
So for me, ketchup worked, the salsa worked, But otherwise, it had plenty of flavor on its own. But I think you could add a little bit more milk or a little bit more cheese.
Yeah.
But we just showed the minimum macros,
yeah,
right? Like,
because I didn't want it to go over 400 calories. But I put like a quarter of a cup of cheese sauce. Really, if you make the cashew cheese sauce, throw a whole cup in it. That's normally what we used to do with it because that's an existing recipe. We just added the TVP, and that will hold it together like glue. Right, and then you will have a true casserole that's in one spot. Otherwise, we just ate it out of the bowl. It was good.
Yes.
Yeah. The TVP Oat Burgers, the beet really gives them a good like kind of color, right?
I know you. I'm shocked I got you on board with that, but yes. And then spring rolls, I think, have to be my favorite. I mean, it's just it's finger food. It's fresh. You can taste the cilantro.
It's amazing you can make that a high protein meal just by swapping the noodles out for the edamame. Yeah, that's it. So we did have a protein shake also during the day. I think we filmed so many protein shakes. I don't know if it's necessary for that. Right. Let's go over the numbers. So here's what we have. So for breakfast, we had 392 calories, came out to 43 grams of protein and 59 grams of carbs, 3 grams of fat. It was just the bake. For lunch, we had the sandwich, of course, and that was 329 calories, 32 grams of protein, 36 carbs, and 8 grams of fat. And then we both kind of took a break after the gardening and had the shake. That was about 200 calories, 27 grams of protein, 14 grams of carbs, and 6 grams of fat. And, of course, for dinner, we have the spring rolls, right? 455 calories, 37 grams of fat, 70 grams of carbs, and 6 grams of fat. As you can see, a full day, under 1,400 calories, 140 grams of protein, very successful, right?
Exactly. And so, like lunch, there was the beet burger. You can add more to that if you have more calories. We just really showed you the minimum to have or take.
Yeah, slap some avocados. If you're trying to do more than 1,400 calories, slap some stuff on there, right? Put some, some vegan mayonnaise or whatever. Like, put stuff on there that you need. But for today, because I'm not working out, it's just going to be 1,400.
Exactly.
Right, that's our video for today. Yeah. Hit that like button. Click on the subscribe button. Click on the bell. You get notified every time we have a new video, usually every Tuesday. Yep. Leave a comment below. Are you doing the high protein thing with us? I'm on like month 4 now, right? So we've kind of gotten used to it. And these recipes, like the protein broccoli bake, that's one of our existing recipes. We just added TVP for. We're just changing some of our old recipes. So it is still mostly whole food.
Yeah, that was really good. So from Phoenix,
we'll see you next time.
Take care.
Bye-bye.